All right, it is time for another episode of your Bucket List Accelerator. I just wanted to jump in here, show you what the finished look looks like, and give you a little bit of preview on the episode today. So we're going to discuss infrastructure bill that's coming down the line that nobody's discussing in the news. I think it's important to know. And we're going to be talking about AI and passwords and what you should give it, and can it do an analysis on your financial freedom journey? That will be another topic. And lastly, stock market highs. We are at that point. Does that mean the economy is doing really well? We'll discuss all the different elements of how the economy is really working. So that sounds good to you. That is our topics for the finance part of it. And then today, for preview of some of the makeup products, I use the Kosas Beachy Bronzer. I use the NARS Highlighter. I've got the new Duo in Laura Mercier. Blushes, this is Strawberry. I've got the Rose and Wood Palette by Natashia Denona. One Size Finishing Powder, Lys Foundation Stick. I got some Persona. I got some Laka lip liners that you've probably never heard of. And we finished it off with this really pretty Glossier lippy that no one's talking about. That is so amazing. It's very hydrating. So that is what we're going to do today. Hopefully that sounds exciting, and let's get into the episode. Good morning and welcome to another episode of your Bucket List Accelerator, filtering out the noise so that you can continue on with your financial freedom journey. And what we do here is very simple. We get ready together in the morning together. We talk about 3 different topics that are out that either you should know about or might already know about that might be distorting or being that kind of shiny object or distracting you from your journey that you're on right now. And the reason I do this is I'm a financial advisor. If you don't know, I'm Lisa. And basically, I pair this with getting ready in the morning, because getting ready in the morning for me and for many other friends of mine, female friends of mine, is that calming moment of the day. You have your door closed, you can listen to music, you can listen to your favorite podcast, you can do what you want. And it's kind of the calm before the storm, right? Most of us are doing this before everybody's even gotten up in the morning. It's just kind of a nice calming moment. And why not take that calming moment and pair something that can be very anxiety-ridden for a lot of people, which is personal finance, and pair them together so that you're calm but still learning. So that's the whole idea. It's not to make your morning routine anxiety-ridden. We don't want that. So, I already got started because I started filming and the sound didn't come through. So there we go. So I already got started with a couple of things on my face today. I started with the bronzing drops, Elf Skin and Rose Gold as my base here. And then I put on the KVD Pore Refining Primer. It's just a clear primer that I put on my T-zone because I get a little, not oily, but I'm red, so I need makeup to stick there. So let's get started with our first topic. Before we jump in, I hope you had a really nice week. I had an okay week, kind of feeling a little ugh, but hopefully that's on the mend and I'm feeling better. It's mainly gut health stuff. The gut is so important. We just didn't even know for so long. Now it's gut health. Say that 3 times fast. And now I can feel it when I'm not feeling good in my gut. Okay, so let's jump into the first topic, because you did not come here to hear about my gut health. So the first topic is really interesting because this is a big deal. I haven't heard anything about this. And I watch the news pretty regularly because of my work that I do. I'm a financial advisor, so I need to kind of know what's going on in the media, with politics, with news, with things that can shift the economy quickly. And I'm shocked I haven't heard anything about this. And I'm sure you haven't heard much about it either, if you've heard anything. So this is that congressional leaders announced a major breakthrough on a bipartisan 5-year surface transportation reauthorization bill that is going to be called the Build America 250 Act. And it's going to feature a historic $50 billion investment specifically targeting the repair and restoration of America's aging bridges, which we need because we've heard a lot about bridges not falling down, which we don't want, and making the largest single investment of its kind in U.S. history. So The shiny object, I always go through shiny object and the real deal when I go through topics like this. The shiny object is, you might hear something like this and then just go rush and buy those kind of stocks, buy building stocks, buy, all that stuff. Don't do that. We've talked about this multiple times, that you need to be well diversified, and that if you're going to look into this sector, you want to look at the full sector. You don't want to look at just a couple of companies, because that's not diversification. But I think what the biggest thing is with this is that all we talk about nowadays is AI and tech. That's all we talk about when it comes to investing. I don't know how many people have called me asking me about SpaceX IPO. When is it coming? When can I buy it? When can we have that? Okay, there's other things out there that can do very well in the markets. So stop getting distracted by the shiny object. There's, infrastructure, materials. It's gonna take care of or help concrete, steel, engineering, physical construction firms. Home Depot, right? Home Depot, Lowe's, which is Walmart, is going to have, a big boom. So you want to talk about, when you look at these kind of things, you want to look at, all sectors, because as I said, we are so focused on tech and AI that we are forgetting that there are other areas that are getting invested in. And whether this goes through or not, I believe that there will probably be some push to continue doing this because of all the issues we've had. So let me move forward with makeup, because I'll be sitting here all day if I don't. I'm going to do a base eyeshadow with the Makeup by Mario Neutrals Master Mattes palette. That's the way it looks. Sorry for the mirror. And I'm just going to put on a base, because what I'd like to do is put on one of these from the Natashia Denona Rose and Wood palettes, but they're all, if you can see, they're all shimmery. So there's one matte that I probably will use that for liner, because I didn't bring a liner. So let's get started with that. So let's pull on it. Here we go. Yeah, that works. Okay, so I'm going to use this Jessup dual-ended brush, kind of see there, F06 brush. And I'm just going to take, here, I'll do it this way, that's probably easier. I'm just going to take these two shades and put it above the crease really quick. And so, like I said, and this is not to say don't buy tech, don't buy any of this stuff. Of course, you want a well-diversified portfolio. I don't want anybody thinking that you should, buy only one sector, or, chase the hot new area or sector, because that's what a lot of people do, is they, oh shoot, I forgot to do. Yeah, let's try it. I have a brand new eye primer, eyeshadow base primer. This is Sigma eyeshadow base. I like that it was a stick and it made it really easy to use. So let's see how this goes. If it doesn't perform well, then that was my fault. But put it in the areas I actually crease, which is down below here. That was super easy. That was nice. And then I'm going to take my powder for the day, which is this, is that what, Miko? I don't know. MCO, I'm sorry, MCO. I'm like, went blank on what the name of this is. The MCO Beauty powder. And I'm just going to put a little on my eyelids here. And then luckily I didn't put too much on of the other stuff, so we can resume. Okay, I'll put that back there. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of a darker shade, this shade here, and just to darken it up a bit. Just like I said, just to put a base down for the Natashia Denona star of the show for eyeshadow. But but I do, because I was putting together ideas and I thought, we talk about AI and tech like every single week because that's all that's in the news right now is AI and tech. And really, there are so many other sectors that are doing well. We talked about value stocks a while back, and those are definitely not considered to be tech and AI. You've got just tons of different things that you could utilize, and people don't. There's tons of other areas of sectors that could do well. I mean, everybody's just focused on energy. Here's the areas I hear about a lot: energy, tech, and defense, and that really kind of kicked up because of the Iran conflict. Those are fine, but those are not the only areas you should be focused on. And I'm going to take the other side of the brush and just kind of sweep a little of the light shade up here just to blend it a little bit. So when you're choosing, what to be invested in, I think you hear stories like this and you think there's huge opportunities. And there are. I'm not saying that you couldn't have a nice opportunity when it came to any of this stuff, but you do want to be careful to chase an area. And you're going to hear me talk about this a lot because we forget about it a lot. We think, oh yeah, of course, diversification, of course. And then we forget when we hear something. I think I'm going to go in, I have orange on, as you can see. I think I'm just going to go in with this champagne shade here. I don't know if you'll be able to even see that. No, you won't. It's just kind of a champagne shade there. That's better. And just do a kind of simple eye look today. So that is just one area you can talk about. And then, also, I always want to give you ideas on things you could be talking to if you have an advisor, an investment manager, things that you could be talking to them about, which, this is one of them. How much do I have in this area? Are we only tech heavy, or do we have, things in different areas that, we could utilize? So, also consider that this is not just about, my showing you my skills. This is about, I'm going to take this BK Beauty 208 brush and just take this darker shadow and just put a little bit in the base here, just for a little definition. As I've found out every week, I cannot do that and talk to you at the same time. So, but I don't know. What's your thought? Well, and this goes into another direction. Like, when you meet with your advisor, I'd love to hear comments on this. So as you know, I have comments turned off for various reasons because the industry I'm in on this. But feel free. I do have an email there that you can email me at. Now, please don't spam me with stuff. I hate that. That drives me crazy. But you can email me about other, about questions or topics or anything. I would love to know I'm going to take that same shadow and just put it underneath here, just to define down here a little bit. What do you do? Do you prepare at all when you talk to your advisor with questions on your portfolio, if they're managing it, with anything like that? Or do you come, just kind of wanting to hear what they say and then follow up with questions? Or do you just kind of take their word for it because you hired them and you expect them to do the job that they were hired for? I kind of am interested. I wonder, I don't know what I would do if I was if I had an advisor. Obviously, I'm our advisor, but but I don't know what I would do. Would I come prepared, or would I know my husband would come pretty prepared for this stuff. But I don't know if I would or not. I guess it would just depend also if I was in the industry or not. So, all right, perfect. I'm going to go in with, yeah, that looks pretty good. Went a little heavy there, and I don't think, oh, I did. Okay, I'm going to put on the bottom, let's try it out. This is the Essence Metaglow Dual Chrome eyeliner. They came out with these a while back, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. It's farther back tends to be better. There you go. It's kind of a purpley shade, and it's pretty, so I thought maybe let's try this in the waterline and see. It's definitely not, I went for simple, and then I'm doing this in the bottom waterline, but it's definitely pretty. My big outing today is Costco later, so it's okay. I'm overdressed for Costco anyhow, so all right, perfect. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's go in with, we'll do this stuff in a bit. That's all. Okay, cool. All right, I got this Clinique lower lash mascara, and it's got a tiny, 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 tiny little wand just to do the lower lashes. And I have been enjoying it just because I don't have a ton on the bottom here. So when I get a little too heavy on my lower lashes, it looks really weird. So go in with that first. Then once I'm done with eyes, we'll move on to another subject. Okay, perfect. I've enjoyed that. I don't know if it's necessary or if I need to buy it again, but I did like the really small wand, but technically I could just buy a small wand that I could put in. So maybe I'll just do that, in the aftermath of things. And then I'm going to go in with this Blink Black Lash Primer. It's kind of, that's upside down, so there you go. And it's got a curved wand. Obviously, it's not a mascara wand, but then I do find that this can get a little chunky, so I just go very sparingly on it. But I have been finding the last week that I've had this that it does make my eyelashes a little thicker looking. And then I'm going to go in with Make Waves Tower 28. This will probably be my last use of this. This is time for a new one. But anyhow, so actually, while I'm doing this, I can tell you a couple questions that you can always have with your advisor if you have something. And these can be kind of universal questions, because you don't want to go in there acting like you don't trust him or her, right? That's not the relationship you want with your advisor. I would certainly hope you don't want that relationship with your advisor. So here's some things you can ask. Okay. One is, how is my portfolio doing? A, relative to the market, knowing that you are probably not going to follow one of the indexes like the S&P 500 that people try to follow, or the Dow, which is 30 stocks, or the NASDAQ. If you're well diversified, you're not going to be following the NASDAQ. So in comparison to the indexes, understanding that my allocation is different than the indexes, how is my portfolio doing relative to the market? And then another thing you can ask them is, how is my portfolio doing for the plan that we've built out? Is it hitting the marks that we need to for planning? And that is something, a lot of people aren't sure if they're working with just an investment advisor or a financial, or somebody who does financial planning with you. And a lot of us do financial, put together planning and things like that. We can't officially say we do financial like plans because we're not CFP, but there are lots of us that do planning, elements, and help with that side of it with the investing. And a lot of people aren't sure if their advisor does both. So this is a good way to ask is, with my planning, how is it going? And I'll curl them with my heated curler in a second. Okay. I'm going to get started with foundation. This is the Lys foundation stick. Very creamy. This is there we go. Goodness, you can't see that at all. Oh, well, whatever. You'll see in my face. Okay, this is in M62. So I just put a little bit on and start that way. Start with that. And I'm going to use the 101 BK Beauty brush. Just kind of pat that in. I have found that I think this works very well with stick foundations, especially creamy stick foundations, versus I'm not sure if I really love this. I know this is bestseller for them, but I'm not sure if I really love this for my traditional foundations as much. But for a stick, I feel like it really does work quite well. Put a little bit on the redness, just a touch. And then I think we're good. All right, so then we'll move on to the next subject. Okay, even though I said I was going to do that after eyes, but flexible. Okay, all right. So let's start the next topic. Okay, so next topic, OpenAI wants your bank account passwords. I wouldn't say OpenAI, only it's all the password managers, all of them. I would not do that, but anyhow, let's get into the topic. OpenAI just announced it's rolling out a feature allowing users to link all their financial institutions directly to the chatbot via Plaid for automated budgeting and investment advice. So the shiny object is convenience, right? You have this AI and it can help you automatically manage your portfolio and track your subscriptions and optimize spending with zero manual effort. Here's the thing. Cybersecurity is still an issue. It's still a huge issue. We talk about that all the time in our industry. And privacy experts are sounding immediate alarms about this, which I am one of them as well. When you give an AI platform this transactional and data visibility over your entire net worth, it can create such massive security risks, not just with, your investment accounts or your bank accounts, but if you're attaching your mortgage, you're doing all this stuff, it is just fraught with people that can go in and do horrible things with your information. So look, at true financial freedom means marking boundaries. And it's great to have convenience, but you need to protect your data. And so I understand the want for this because people don't want to manage their finances. And if they can do it cheaper and with less hassle, because it would be wonderful if I had a tool for, clients to be able to attach. We do in some respects, but it's not quite the same thing where you can attach everything and to your plan and everything, which we do. Oh, this is the Essence. Wow, what a brow pen in dark brown. That's the color right there. And I mean, it'd be lovely. I'd love to have that as an option, but that's just not safe to do that. And also to when you're looking for advice on stuff like your portfolio, like your financial planning, there's nuances to it. I know people don't think so, but there are nuances to it. And you want to have somebody who understands those nuances, whereas a machine is never going to be able to do that. I know that there's a lot of talk in my world about AI coming in and disrupting everything, but to me, personalized financial discussion and recommendation is never going to go away, because people understand that a machine is just not going to be able to do what we can do. And I think people who have that fear in our industry don't maybe provide as many services as they should. I don't know. That sounds kind of nasty what I just said, but it's my opinion. So you just have to find an advisor that you trust, that yes, it would be a lot cheaper just to hook everything up on OpenAI. And honestly, the tech people, AI, all of them are coming after finance first because it's the easiest one for them to test this stuff on. It's just easier. You're not going to do it attorney wise. You're not going to do this is the easiest one to test this stuff on. And I think this is the most dangerous, to be frank. So don't link those up to that, because there's no encryption around OpenAI or any of them from what I can tell. Whereas if you have, planned through eMoney or any of those other financial planning, there is tons of security attached to it, just like there's tons of security attached to your bank account and all of that. So I'm going to go in with some balm under my eyes. This is the Dalba Double Serum All-in-One Multi-Balm. So I'm going to put that under here really quick. Bring back a little moisture. Let that sit for a second. So just be very protective. I said something, I think it was a couple weeks back, where I said, people don't protect their money enough. And as I'm waiting, I'm gonna curl my eyelashes. People don't protect their money enough in terms of you work really hard for your money and we just spend it on random stuff, on a get rich quick scheme, or, send it off to some fraudster someplace without enough information or evidence that they are who they say they are, that they're going to provide the system, because we're too busy. We just click on that link because we're too busy. We don't take a second to go, that looks weird, I'm not going to click on it. I got something from Facebook the other day, and I don't know if it's legitimate or not. I just deleted the email because I figured I'll see it in a notification in the system if this is that big of a deal. But I know a lot of them. I know I was getting lots of messages from Facebook about a year or two ago saying that they were going to shut down my business Facebook account and all this stuff. And none of that actually happened. It was just fraudsters. So you just have to be real protective of your information. It's not just, everybody says, oh, it's all out there anyhow, so it doesn't matter. It does matter. So don't fall for that. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Yummy Skin Light and Flex Concealer. This is in 6. This is Danessa Myricks. It's a very nice concealer. And I'm going to put a little bit on my hand. And I'll leave that out. And take the Patrick Ta 4 concealer brush. Now, this is expensive, but I think it's totally worth it because I don't hardly even use this side. I use the fluffy brush side, and I pick it up and I place it where I want it, and it's just been so easy. I don't have, I don't have a ton of discoloration under my eyes. I have bags that are genetic. And, so that does make a difference. But I just love it because I do have creasing, I do have all of that, and I just want as minimal product as possible. And this brush can do that. It's just been just amazing. I just love it. I guess I might use the other side for this technique. So then I've been taking my color corrector and brightener, and this is the Sigma color corrector duo and light medium. There, that's better. And it's kind of a peachy and pinky tone, and I might do this. And I just put it right down here. So I guess I have been using this side for color correcting, because it's not going to pick up too much product. But then I saw, I think her name, oh, that's not where that goes. I think her name's Erica Taylor. Oh, I'm also going to take my little puff that I got off of Amazon and just kind of go through and press out any excess here. Also my forehead, because I have lines there that show a lot, as anybody in their 40s do. And then I'm going to take, so Erica Taylor I think I watch her mostly on Instagram. She might have a YouTube channel. She showed this because she has the same bags under her eyes. I don't know if that's genetic for her or not. Doesn't matter. So she showed the Jones Road, the face pencil in shade 1. I had not used anything from Jones Road before, but I respect Bobbi Brown, who's the founder of that. So anyhow, I don't know why I hadn't. I just hadn't. And she showed that if you take this pencil and lightly go right under the bag area, it makes your bags lessen. And she's 100% right. It's so nice. And I don't have any creasing or anything down there, so that's perfect. So I've been loving that trick. So I will keep that in my toolbox. Okay, so then I'm going to do some powder. This is the Emco Beauty again. And take that Patrick Ta brush again, the fluffy side, and just, you know what I meant to do? Hold on a sec. Take some of the Dalba Vitamin Spray Serum. This is the calming one, so it's pink, and it is for some of us that are sensitive prone, because that other one's very nice as like kind of a finishing spray, but I don't really want this under my eyes, just because of the fragrance. And this one is supposed to be for sensitive skin. So I picked this up, especially when I was having issues with my eyes and stuff. And so I put it on the back of my hand. I'm putting that on the areas I need a little extra moisture. And then I'm going to take the powder, get that on. This one hair is driving me crazy. Okay. Get that on my powder puff, put it in my palm. And set the T-zone. Perfect. Okay. It's funny, I saw a comment on Lisa J's YouTube channel, because she does the BK Beauty. She's the founder of that I watch her stuff a lot. Plus she's named Lisa, so I like her. And somebody put in the comments that she said perfect too much. And I just thought, that's kind of mean. She's just talking to herself. Like, what does that matter? But I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of happy that comments aren't on. The things that people get upset about are just crazy. Okay, we're finishing up stuff. So let's move on to the last topic. So bottom line, don't give AI your financial stuff. That is just a problem waiting to happen. Okay. Last one is the earning growth reality check. So with over 90% of the S&P 500 companies having reported quarter one results, corporate earnings are up an impressive 25% year over year, which is great because remember, the stock market are companies. You want companies to do well, therefore their stocks do better. Fingers crossed. Not always, but fingers crossed on that. The belief, so the shiny object is that, that because the corporate earnings are doing well, that means the economy is totally set and don't worry about it. There is a difference between corporate profitability and household income. Plus, most people have their finances or their investments in their 401k that they're not accessing. Although I have, heard that there's a lot of 401k loans being taken, which is not a good sign. And so just remember that the market, I wanted to put this one in here because when you are looking at the economy as a whole, I'm going to start in with my bronzer so we're not sitting here. Oops. This is the number 7 big massive bronzer that's been out for a while, the Pro Artist Soft Glow Cream Bronzer in light gold. I know it looks kind of orangey in the package, but it doesn't translate that way when you put it on the face. At least I don't think it does. You tell me if I'm wrong, though. I'm going to take the Ulta Beauty Bronzer 146 brush and just get that on the brush and up here. Get a little glow back in my face. They call it glow. I don't really see glow in it. Well, I guess there is glow. Okay, never mind. I take it back. I did see a lady, Dr. Sam Ellis, say don't put bronzer in here because you get hollow there. I had not thought about that, and I stopped doing it recently, and it has helped the way that I like my bronzer to look. So, all right. So when you are taking a look at, you have different elements of your portfolio, of your overall financial plan, right? You have your investments, you have your cash flow and savings rate, you have your assets, all of those different things. And they all work together like an orchestra, like a musical production. Everything kind of is supposed to work and tune together so you get that beautiful sound, and that beautiful sound is hopefully financial freedom, right? Independence, getting to do what you want when you want, not worrying about money, all of that. Well, I'm going to go in with the Persona in Guava. This is the Persona. They call it a multi-use stick. A multi-stick. I don't know if you can use this on your lips too, but I hadn't figured that out. So I'm going to go in with my I'll do this one, the Lys brush. It has no name. I think this is called the blush brush, but I don't know. It doesn't have a name. It's got an interesting shape to it though. And just take a little bit on that. Kind of get that into the brush and then get that on the cheek. And it's kind of a guava color, which I thought was appropriate for my orange today. And I have been noticing I'm putting it a little lower, my blush, and it has made me like it a lot better. Okay, so that's that done. Right, and then I'm going to finish up with bronzer. This is Kosas, the Sun Show in Beachy. Kosas, I love that they have, I love their short titles because when I'm writing it down, it drives me crazy. And this is such a pretty, it's a shimmery, it's not going to show up at all. It doesn't show up at all in my hand, but it's a kind of a shimmery bronzer. But their packaging drives me insane because I can't get it open. Does anybody else have that problem? Okay, so let me get back to our subject, which is wanting everything to move together. So when your stocks are doing well, people seem to think everything else is going well, but that doesn't mean that you should not pay attention to the other areas of your portfolio or of your overall plan. Like I said, I'm just putting a little bit more blush on over it. Like I said, you have to have everything working together. So don't get taken away that the stock market's doing well, so the economy is doing well, so I'm doing well, and ignore everything else. I'm going to go in with the NARS Light Reflecting Illuminating Powder in Heavenly. That's the color. It doesn't show as much on there, but it is definitely a kind of that might be better. Pink lighter. And I'll take this one. This is the BK Beauty 201 brush. I know it's an eyeline brush, but with something like this, I don't like to put too much on. Plus the blush already was a little shimmery, so you don't want to overdo it too much. I have to say, I was so excited for this product because it's so pretty and it looks so creamy and everything. It's okay. It's okay. It's not, I don't think it's worth rushing out. Don't do what I did. Don't rush out and do that. So, okay. And then I'm going to finish it all off with the one size. Did I do everything? Yeah. The one size, Bocal, I don't understand this. Bocal Silk Cellulose Airbrushed Powder. Why you're saying cellulose and airbrushed powder, I don't understand. But it's a good powder. It's a great kind of finishing powder. I'm just taking the Makeup by Mario F3 brush just to kind of hit some areas of my face. It's a really pretty, like I said, kind of shiny finishing powder. It's not a setting powder. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to top it off. Okay, so this was one of my things. Let me just finish up this subject really quick. So just make sure you're looking at not just your stocks, not just your 401k, but your overall plan. How are you doing on savings? How are you doing with accumulation? Take a look at not just how your accounts are doing, but how your cash flow is doing. Are you saving more? Do you have more in emergency funds? Do you have to find other places to invest with your money because you have so much in tow? That's the way everything needs to work together. Okay, so this is the new Laura Mercier Blush Color Infusion Duo. I swear I can read, but I can't read when I'm reading this stuff. That's the color. It's strawberry. Now, I went back and forth on getting this because I was like, it's so light. I mean, it's just so light. There's no way that is going to show up on my skin. It's gorgeous as a topper because I always hate putting on a nice cream blush and then I can't see it because then you put on some other blush on top of it. But as almost like a finishing blush, it's so pretty. It's just gorgeous. It's got a nice sheen to it. So if I wanted to not have done that highlighter, I could have just taken that as my highlighter and that as my kind of satin. It's just pretty. It's just, to me, that's worth it. And on my skin tone, if you are my skin tone, that's totally worth it. All right, and I'm going to finish off with the Refi Clear Face Setter. I got this sent to me in a box, so I don't know anything about this. But the one time I used it, it did a very nice job. So setting sprays are setting sprays, though. I'm going to finish up too with the Prequel hand wrap. I live in Arizona, as I've told you guys before, and if you live in a hot climate, this is a must because my hands get so dry out here, especially from Southern California. So dry. And I think that's it. That's everything. Oh, I'll tell you about my scent of the day, and then we're good. So hopefully that helped you really understand, again, diversification. I'm going to keep banging on that drum because diversification really is the key to not getting stuck in bad scenarios. I'm going to finish up with the Skylar Hair and Body Mist in Boardwalk Delight. It smells just like cotton candy to me. I can go a little heavier on this because it's a hair and body mist. Yeah, just like cotton candy. And take the clips out. Then we talked about, so we talked about that with the infrastructure, hopefully, deal that goes through. And, I didn't do lips. Do that very quickly. I'm going to go in with the Laka lip stain. This to me seems very similar to those Kulfi lip stains that are out there. It's just a pretty pink. And it's creamy. I was just not liking those kind of marker lip liners. I just didn't like it at all. Does this have the best staying power in the world? No, but it's okay. Then put a little powder on that just to kind of keep it in place. And then I'm going to finish off with, nobody's talked about these, and these are amazing. Plus, it's a really short name. So this is the Glossier Ultra Lip in Cranberry. This is such a good balmy lipstick. It is so hydrating. Really nice lipstick. I'm going to get some more of those because those are nice. Okay, so that's the look for today. Hopefully it turned out, I think it turned out nice. But like I said, we're going to, diversify investments. We're going to watch everything together and not just get sidetracked with the investment market doing well again, which people can tend to do. And we're not giving OpenAI or any AI our password and our financial stuff, okay? Please don't do that. All right. It's very tempting, but don't do it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I did. I feel like it was a little all over the place, but that's what it is. It is fine. So hopefully you enjoyed that for this week. We will be back next week with more makeup, more topics, talking about how to get through your financial freedom journey. So until next time, the next episode of Your Bucket List Accelerator, be safe, be strong, be kind to one another. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.